Right. Well, last time around, we dealt with everyone in Gun Manor. Admittedly, we didn't take the good ending with the guy causing it. What's his name? Bullet. But now we're back. Ready to continue the story? Or die trying? I really don't think we'll die trying, but I figure, it's always a possibility. Oh, and we need to find Bill the Lady Cactus. Oh, and we got the shoe store. Boot polish adds 3 speed to a pair of boots. You know what? I'll take a few of those. Beer-soaked boots. Oh, shiny boots. Those are nice, actually. I know. I might go for those. What boots am I wearing? Oh, the spit-soaked boots. Honestly, I think I'm gonna stick with those. Tell you what, I'll buy some shiny boots. I don't know if I'll actually use them. Okay, he's got some nice liquors. Oh my. Give me a couple of those. Give me a couple of boot straps. Fine bandolier, flexible chaps, inflexible chaps, and the strap. Come to think of it, actually, there are a few things that I could do here. Like adding an electric snakeskin to my hat. That'll give it +7 spell damage. I've been using that hat for a good long time, so I reckon it's worth it. After everything we did last time around, reckon it's time to make our way to Frisco. Looks like it's time to fight some Frisco Vipers. Oh my, they outsped us. Oh, we might come off the worst in this. I think we might need some more temporary buffs. Last custard stand. Smee looks might upset about something. Yeah. Alright, let's take a look-see here. Ah, jeez. Muscle, mysticality, meat drop bonus. The maximum HP is already up to 90 right now. I reckon that's a pretty good number. Hardtack is probably the way to go. Can of tuna also could be good. Yeah, I'm thinking we take some hardtack. And just maybe something for a bit of a boost to speed. Nah, not yet. Oh, there's a nice boost. Tainted milk is mysticality and speed. You know what? We'll drink the tainted milk. Oh, it won't let me. That's rude. Gives me tainted milk and just won't let me drink it? El Vibrato Seltzer is pretty good, but I don't know if I want to spend that just yet. I think I'll just go for some hot coffee. What's going on, Smee? His fancy pants calls himself the Emperor, and he won't let us build our tracks up to the station. Can you see if you can talk some sense into him? Frisco city limit. I mean, I could talk to him, or I could just walk past him. Projectionist wanted. Cluncy's, I think that is. Oh, there's a flyer of some sort. A comedy flyer. And a couple of houses. Oh, it's just nearly identical houses as far as the eye can see in that direction. And I can't even go in that house. Okay, first of all, it's a Frisco fracas. This lady has a rock in her whiskey. Ask her about it. Whiskey on the rocks, eh? That was funny the first time I heard it today. So by now it should be a laugh riot, right? Mm-hmm. Seriously though, why are you running that whiskey with that rock? I'm not here to drink, I'm doing important research. What kind of research? I'm testing the effects of various liquids on the hypercrystalline thaumatomorphic properties. Today's liquid is ethanol. Maybe I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm guessing you're some kind of scientist. Good guess. Specifically, I'm an arcanologist. Arcanogeologist. Magical rocks? Hey, not bad. You got it in one. Dr. Josie Morton at your service. Hi, I'm Stick Guy. My second guess was... Have you met the professor? The guy researching El Vibrato out by Gustavson Gulch? That's him. His work is really intriguing, but our fields of study don't overlap as much as you'd expect. No? I'd have thought El Vibrato would be right up your alley. There's all kind of magical rocks in that stuff. Yeah, but those rocks were heavily modified by the El Vibratoans. My interest in magical rocks is in magical rocks in their naturally occurring state. Ah, I see. How's the whiskey experiment going? Not great, to be honest, but I wasn't expecting much. This test should really be done with pure ethanol, but it's too hard to get that out here, so I'm trying whiskey just for the heck of it. But the impurities in it would screw up my findings even if I had any. Well, that's a shame. Hey, your rock just turned blue. Oh, that's unrelated. Hypercrystalline thaumatomorphic gyrite turns blue every 23 minutes. I have a colleague who patented a design for a watch based on that property of it, but a 23-minute watch isn't very useful. Plus, the whole cancer thing. Cancer? Yeah, did you think that I wasn't drinking this because of the flavor? It's because I don't want a tumor that can yell its own name. You need any help with your experiments? Sure, I can always use more samples. If you find any interesting rocks, bring them by my house. Dr. Morton's house. What counts as interesting? I haven't seen any rocks that turn blue. Oh, just anything a rock doesn't ordinarily do, moving around on its own, defying gravity, displaying rudimentary intelligence. What about a rock that plays the banjo? Have you seen a rock that plays the banjo? Oh no, I was just what-ifing. Jeez Louise, don't get my hopes up like that. Well, I'll swing by if I find any interesting rocks. Alrighty, thanks. Hope to see you soon. She pays her tab, fishes the rock out of the whiskey, and leaves. You decide there's no sense in throwing the bathwater out with the baby. You pocket the whiskey. Dr. Morton told you this whiskey was poisonous, but you figure all whiskey is technically poisonous, so how much worse could this really be? Oh boy, another spittoon. Let's go. What's with that excitement? I've given up. This is the last spittoon in the game, and I'm not going to try and convince you not to be the most disgusting person on earth anymore. Let's go. Let's do this. Yeah, search that filthy spittoon. You kneel down on the floor and throw your arms around the spittoon, giving the greasy brass bucket a great big hug. How about a kiss? Would you like to kiss it? You know it, baby. You pucker up and give the spittoon a great big kiss right on the rim. Is there tongue involved? Well, I'll leave that up to you. But even without it, it tastes like a burning horse. I love it. I know you do, friend. And if it were legal in this country, I'd let you marry that spittoon and have a big romantic honeymoon night with it. But unfortunately, you're going to have to settle for wearing it as a hat. Yes, please. You flip that beautiful brass bucket over and slap it on your head, drenching your face in hot brown tobacco spit. It washes down over your face and hair like a sewage waterfall, soaking your clothes, running down your collar, and slithering into your underwear, filling your boots. I can't even force myself to describe it in any more detail than that. You are the world's foulest human being. Congratulations. I got a spittoon hat. Oh, and that's actually very, very good stats. Let's dive into a Frisco fracas. We're up against a fellow bean slinger, but he be underestimating us. That don't work out too good for him. Great northern blizzard. And now to finish it off, lava fava. Decent whiskey, decent wine, decent tequila, and a handful of loose teeth. Oh, and it just continues. Sorry, no darts. Well, I'll be a new face. I'm Cluncy. Make yourself at home. Thanks, I'm Stick Guy. New to town? I've been helping the Manifest Destiny get the rail tracks laid. We're very, very close, but haven't quite finished yet. Sounds like you could use a drink. Cluncy, I sure could. What have you got? Oh. Muscle, Mysticality, or Moxie? Nah, I got better options. What's with the huge brawl going on over there? Oh, them fellas are always blowing off steam. I just let them go ahead and get their aggressions out, so long as they keep over there away from the furniture I've got left. What can you tell me about Frisco? Oh, it's a fine town. Fella named Samson Frisco found it way back when the mines first opened out this way and everyone caught the fever. Mining fever? Yep, the kind you get from breathing too much dirt. Frisco was a doctor, you see. Ah, gotcha. Bye, barman. Word on the street is that Projectionist Wanted 2 is already in the works. Who the heck are you? I'm Emperor Norton. I'm in charge of the city and you can't build any train tracks here without permission. And Emperor, where's your crown then? As it happens, I lost my dang crown. Fool thing didn't fit right anyway. Without it, I can't issue any official permits, and that means no rails for you. Unless, of course, you were to give me a new crown, a properly fitting one. Don't have any crowns, sorry. Well, I guess that just tears it, don't it? So not only do you not get that permit, but also, he reaches in his pocket and grabs a handful of powder which he throws in your face. Your eyes burn. Have a taste of my famous antivirus, sucker. Your vision goes all weird and you pass out. What was that? When you come to, Norton is gone and so is the train. Oh my. Where'd the train go? That lunatic stole it. He drove it off somewhere into the desert. Norton's gone off the rails. He points to a deep set of ruts to the side of the railroad tracks. You walk over to investigate, but you can't see it because of this weird hexagon thing. You should probably get that checked out, boss. That Norton fella said something about an antivirus. Maybe someone around here knows something about that. Yeah, probably. We've got antis, folks. You don't look well. Yeah, and I can't see well either. Oh no, what did that rascal Norton do? Oh no, did that rascal Norton do this to you? He was raving about some sort of antivirus earlier. Any idea how I can fix this? Do you know that feller named Roy Bean, the one that collects all kinds of jelly beans? I think maybe he's got one made of honey and that it could help with your predicament. That makes 0 sense, but I suppose I don't have a better plan. Alright. We're actually going to go ahead and try and keep this going as long as possible because I think it's funny. Let me know in the chat if it's actually making anyone feel ill, though. Let's go visit the last custard stand. Talk to the goblin. You know what? As much as I'm trying to be kind to the goblins in this playthrough, I don't particularly want any art. Well, we got a driftwood sculpture. And just like that, we got a fine custard stand. So is it the last stand or the last custard? Suppose it could be both. Want some? Nah, I ain't a fan. Too squishy. Well, howdy there. Welcome to the last custard stand. I'm Custard Man Stan, and I make custard like only Custard Man Stan can. Care to try some? Tell me about your custard stand, Custard Man Stan. Not much to tell, just a plain honest custard stand selling plain honest custard. But it's the last one? What, like the last one before you get to Frisco, or last one in the whole territory? Heck, last one in the whole world as far as I know, but I can't swear to that. You sure it isn't the first? Yep, 'cause the first was also mine. It was farther up north. Whole dang operation was ate by wasps, stand and all. Give me them sweet custards. Except I'm not actually gonna buy them, 'cause they don't look worth it, price-wise. Alright, off to Dr. Morton's place. Translate the petroglyphs? Or the petroglyphs? My seventh, the seventh of a guardian stone. Intriguing. Some kind of drill machine seems to have taken a real beat. This doesn't seem natural. High-tech, a fancy high-tech electric light. Don't these new lamps need to be plugged in or something? Yes, but I've modified these to run on ambient arcanolithic radiation. You can see how they work more reliably the closer they are to that dielectric resonator on the floor there. Yes, I understand this. Weird looking boots. Hey Josie, what's up with those boots? Oh, that's just an invention I lost interest in. What do? They're supposed to make you run really fast, but I couldn't get any significant boost out of them. You're so close, though. Oh yeah? Sure, just gotta hook this wire up to this spring, twist this flange a little, and Bob's your uncle. Huh, clever. Well, I'm still not interested in them. You can keep them. I do kind of wonder if they affect overworld speed, but I kind of doubt it. Water in this vanity has been replaced with some kind of solvent. Bed made of stone. A bedrock, if you will. She's really committed to the whole geology thing. Ah, there, Dr. Morton. Oh, I stick. Did you find any interesting rocks for me? Not yet. Alright, it looks like we might not have anything else to do before we clear this antivirus out. Wow, Dr. Morton's got one heck of a rock collection. I always felt like rock collection ought to focus on quality over quantity. Still have to investigate the shipment of mail to Breadwood. That's it. Alright. Let's head on down to Roy Bean's house. Howdy, Stick. Thanks again for helping me get back on my jelly beans. Paraguayan murder bee honey jelly bean. Very rare. Does this jelly bean really cost 6,000 meat? Well, normally it does, but I guess seeing as how you helped me out with them bandits and goblins and hippies, I'd say... let's call her 5. 5 meat? Really? Yeah, I reckon. Better buy it in a hurry before I change my mind. There was only one. Alright, let's roll on back to Frisco. Hair on the back of your neck stands up. Herd of ghostly floating cow heads. Heard that some ranchers, in a desperate effort to avoid the homecoming, deliberately drove their entire herds into the ocean. If that's what happened here, it didn't work, and these cows are very angry about it. And really, can you blame them? It's pretty messed up. Fight. Okay, it's just 3. Oh. Wasn't what I meant to do, but oh well. Some infernal soul fragments, and Susie leveled up. These are the telltale signs of a train robbery. Follow the tracks. You jump on Winnie's back and ride like the wind, following the railroad tracks back into the desert. When you finally catch up, you stand up on Whitney's saddle and leap back onto the back of the train like a real bad A, just barely catching the edge of the roof and pulling yourself up. Here's hoping you don't do that again. Your stuntman could have been killed. Looks like Susie decided not to join you on account of not having a stuntman, so you're on your own until you get back to Frisco. So we actually got inside the train. Requires safe cracking 5. My. So I'm only on safe cracking 3. Why do I feel like this could actually be... Hop off and head back to Frisco. We're gonna try something. We're just gonna take a quick wander. See if we can find some locations hereabouts. Yeah, abandoned mine. Shineth in here. Strange silvery crystal. Oh hey, Mindsplaining actually got me something I could do. Couple of unrefined meat nuggets. And some XP. Percussive maintenance. You hit the elevator in all the right places. Looks to be a bit of a puzzle. Wait, I don't have a pickaxe with me? Have I been spending pickaxes to mine things? Abandoned mine cultist camp. Dear Jeff, got called up north to the deepest delve. See you soon, praise be Roberto, sincerely Jeff. I don't know how I don't have a pickaxe. Only thing I can think is if somehow using it on some things consumes it. Gonna have to fight the snakes to get through here. You know what? Fight them. Dark howdy. It's okay. One more great northern blizzard should finish the lot of them off. Coal snakeskin. Some meat. Wait, so are there only 2 of those? Okay. Well, in that case, we best head off somewhere that we can pick up a couple of pickaxes. Let's check Button Willows. I don't know how I didn't have one of those already, but... back to the abandoned mine. Angry looking skeleton with a mining pick is stalking you. I guess now that I think about it, most skeletons are pretty angry looking. Oop. That was not what I meant to do. Give me some armor and my bean golem. Use the old bean. There we go. Wish we could have taken the pickaxe now. Yes, I see the mining spot back there. I'm just concerned that if I start mining everything, one of these things will actually consume my pickaxe. Got a delicate bean iron. Delicate bean iron. West Central Storage Facility. Got an El Vibrato cylinder and a bunch of punch cards. And we'll unlock the container. El Vibrato Food Cube. That's pretty nice. Wonder why the cultists all seem so determined to dig in places with El Vibrato tech. Just seems a bit strange, because El Vibrato don't seem to have nothing to do with necromancy. Alright. I figure we go for another wander. And find another place. Let's visit the jeweler's cabin. Hello, a customer. Why, hello, welcome to Master Gerald's jewelry shop. Howdy, are you Master Gerald? Oh no, Master Gerald is in the back there at his workbench. I'm just his assistant and translator. A goblin jewelsmith? You betting your breeches, sonny, and not forgetting it. He says that's right, the finest jeweler in the territory. Well, what do you know? I don't see anything on display, though. Master Gerald only does bespoke work. If you bring in a sufficiently valuable gemstone, he'll craft it into a fine ring for you, for a fee. No trash rocks. Huh. Silicon ring. Plus 11 mysticality. Not bad. Unbreakable ruby ring. Master Gerald takes your unbreakable ruby, cuts it and polishes it, and sets it in a fine ring for you. And your effluvious emerald boost to maximum action points and speed. All of trash and garbage being. Master Gerald apologizes, but there's nothing here he can work with. I think he was referring to the rest of my inventory, to be clear. Pluck my eyebrows, flush the toilet. Upgrade safe cracking. Upgrade using the old bean. Look at all those perks. time for another wander. To visit Fort Unnecessary. Truth be told, I'm kind of just trying to gather together the experience needed to pick up Safe Kraken 5. Someone has arranged these cannons haphazardly and left them out in the rain. This place don't look abandoned, just a bit run down. I hear soldiers inside, maybe they don't know what they're doing, or stopped caring. Guess it could be both. A hairy-looking young woman in a military outfit darts in front of the door as you enter. Oh no, I can't be having any more misfits in this jerk ward. You can either swear to me that you're halfway competent, heck, even a quarter, and that you'll help sort out this crew of no-hopers, or you can turn right back around and march double time. Sure, I'll help. Alright, I'm gonna hold you to that promise. I'm Captain Harriet Davenport. My name's Stick Guy. What's the problem, Cap? Problems. Welcome to Cap Foo Bar, where all the Army's idiots and rejects are sent so they're out of the way. I've had it up to my eyeballs trying to run this place. Please help these morons figure out their malfunctions so they can muster out of here and leave me in peace. Can you give me some details? You'll need to talk to them individually for more information, but the brief is, we got a scout who's blind as a bat, a cook who can't figure out how to make corned beef hash on toast, a guy who can't load and fire a cannon without blowing up or maybe shooting backwards, a guy who somehow can't for the life of me figure out it out, is too bow-legged to ride a horse, and a kid who was sent here because he can't figure out how to tie a bow tie. Oh, and just to put the icing on the cake, we have infinite goblins living in our storage shed. Wow, okay, I begin to see the scope of your complaint. Pal, you are not just Whistling Dixie. So what did you do to get sent here? You can hear her teeth grinding as she growls at you. Do not ask. Okay, well, I'll just take a look around then. Fortunately, I don't have binoculars, but... Howdy, do I know you? Your fuzzy silhouette don't seem familiar. Nope, I'm just passing through. What do you do here? Well, I'm supposed to be a scout, but I went and broke my only pair of glasses. Without 'em, I can't see a dang thing. Could try and get you a new pair? I'd be much obliged. I hear there's a jeweler not too far from here. You could probably grind me a pair of lenses. Just tell him to make 'em thick as Dickens. Okay, jeweler is easy enough. General, what's his name? Medal of Adequacy. Howdy. Ah, what's wrong? Ah, gee willikers, I had a pretty good job as the General's personal assistant, but I got fired and reassigned here. Everything was great at first. I was pretty good at scheduling, and I can write shorthand. I'm an A+ boot polisher. The General went and decided he'd look more serious and sophisticated with a bow tie, and he's expecting me to do the tying for him. No good? Nope, I can do a sheep shank and a bowline, and a clover hitch, but for the life of me, I can't get a bow tie right, to look right. The General sent me out here with one to practice on and said not to come back till I got it. So it takes 45 moxie to finish off that. It would be cruel to loot these people's supplies. I'm pretty certain I can help this one. Howdy, Private. Cooker. How appropriate. Well, it would be if I knew how to cook, even a little bit. It seems to be the trouble. Well, we've only got 2 ingredients here, and I cannot for the life of me figure out how to combine them. What are the ingredients? Corned beef hash and toast. Try to help him with a metaphor. What if you thought of toast as... a shoe? And think of corned beef as a hole in the ground. So I should put corned beef hash next to it. Okay. Think of it as a road map. Shinola. Huh. See, I'm trying and failing to figure out what these things relate. And here I am just wondering what in the world a Shinola is. Wait. Looks like Shinola is a brand of shoe polish. So, think of toast as a shoe, and think of corned beef as Shinola. Of course, I put the corned beef on the toast, just like Shinola on a shoe. I get it now, thank you. All in a day's work. Okay, we've dealt with one problem here. Now, what do I have to boost my moxie? Fake Pope hat is the best so far. Yeah, put on the fake Pope hat. I've already got 38, so... Bean Iron badge. Let's try that now. Help him out. Okay, here. Grab the two ends like this, right? You want this side a little shorter, and that end crosses over the top, and then under and up, while the other side does a sort of zigzag, see? Then you bring the upper bit straight down and back around, and it folds under there, and then you pull them tight. Got it? Let him try. You go back and forth a few times until he finally gets it. Right? Until he finally gets it right without poking himself in the eye. I think I got it. Thanks a lot. Wait till I show the general. And now we can get back to my preferred hat. Muscle, mysticality, deformed bone, gothic cameo, Holloway's pen. See, Holloway's pen wouldn't be half bad, honestly. But I think I'll go ahead and take the Medal of Adequacy. Oh wait, I never looked in the mirror. Shoot yourself a wink. This horse has 4 left legs. These cannons are in sorry shape. Oh, and there's the infinite. A sign in front says important gun storage, no goblins. You open the door a crack and take a peek. Naturally, the shed is crammed full of goblins to the ceiling. They're barely recognizable as individual goblins. Try to talk to them, but they're just babbling insanely. Sure, I'll yank one out. And we got some goblin stew. Howdy, what's the haps? I'm supposed to be a cannoneer, but I'm terrible at loading cannons. They always explode, except not the way they're supposed to explode. Or else they don't explode at all. Huh. Only time I ever got one to fire right, the cannonball knocked off my sergeant's hat and he was standing behind me. Still can't figure out how that happened. So they assigned me to this loser squad and said I can't report back for a proper duty until I've figured out how to load a cannon right. Let's give 'em cannon loading for idiots. Here, maybe this'll help. Well, let's see. He flips through the pages, which have big numbered diagrams. Oh, you take the stick back out before you put the cannonball in? That certainly sounds easier. Let him figure it out. Carefully follows along the directions in the book and successfully fires the cannonball over the wall of the fort. I wonder where that landed. I did it! Wow, great! Thanks a lot. I'm gonna go get my new assignment right away. Howdy, they call me Private Bowlegs. I can see why you look uncomfortable. You ain't kidding. Look at my legs. They're bent so far out I can't hardly touch both knees at once. Walking hurts like a dickens. Captain said it keeps you from riding a horse? Yep, they're too wide. Horse slips right out between them. Huh. Think I could ride a mule, though. What with them being a tad lower to the ground. Where would you get a mule? There's a place up north that rents them, but I can't get out there myself, so I need someone to go set up the contract on my behalf and have them send me one. Okay, so we could go to Elmo Rent-A-Mule. There is also the option of just boosting our muscle up another 2 points and just kind of breaking his legs back into position, but you know me. I like to explore. Elmo Rent-A-Mule. A cryo bow. Got a brass bull ring and cow fangs. Oh, and she remembered where a ranch is. I don't know any of the ranches out this way specifically, but if I had to guess, I'd say there's one out that way. You think it's worth following up on a guess like that? There's good land out that way, and there's plenty of folks looking to make a life for themselves. Can't imagine it's been left empty. Haystacks. Get some needles. This year's model. Rentals and complaints. Oh great, another customer. As if I didn't have enough to deal with already. What with the paperwork and the heat and the mule. Oh, that's why this is the complaints counter. He's got the complaints. He doesn't receive the complaints. If I didn't have the heat and the mule bites and someone keeps stealing my lunch out of the employee icebox, my trick knuckle is acting up again. Gosh, sure would be nice to get a little peace and quiet, but nope, I gotta stand here at this counter all day in the hardwood floors and help 'em with my sciatica. Let me tell you, don't even get me started on what they pay us around here. The mules eat better than I do. And if that wasn't bad enough, I went and dropped my daughter's birthday present down a stupid hole at a stupid mine. Will anyone go and get it for me? Ha ha, yeah, right. You want me to go get it? What, really? Did a miracle just occur? I can hardly believe it. Where did you lose it? Oh, not far from here. Place called Deepest Delve Mine. I was looking to scavenge some free string to tie up the parcel with, and I dropped it. And of course, because it's a bracelet, it's round, so of course it rolls into a hole under some kind of stupid machine. Ugh. Looks like this is where you go to rent a mule, just judging from the sign. You know. Howdy and welcome to Elmo Rent-A-Mule. How can I help you? I'd like to rent a mule. Don't you have a horse? What you need a mule for, if I may ask? Oh, it's not for me. Well, I'm picking up one for someone else. Alright then, that'll be 1,500 meat. Oh Nelly, why is it so expensive? It's a lifetime contract. The rental business isn't what it used to be, so we've made some changes to our business model. I suppose technically we should change the name to Alamo Buy a Mule, but we'd have to change all our branding. And you can't really rebrand a mule. They're too wary after the first time. I can't even afford it. Alright, well, let's step on back down to... Where's the jeweler? Ah. Solve a riddle. Apparently I solved it by kicking both men repeatedly. I need a pair of eyeglasses for a near blind watchtower lookout. Can you guys make them for me? Having some old soda bottles for grinding down should work fine. He says, yes, we have some glass of the finest optical quality. Is 500 meat acceptable? Sure. Very thick spectacles. The lenses in these spectacles are so thick you reckon they'd let a feller see behind himself. Conquistador Dragoon Skeleton. That's a heck of a summary. You've won. Specifically, you've won... Sorry about that. hope that wasn't too loud. You've won the oldest, filthiest gun you ever seen. Nice. You know what? There are two options here, and one of them costs 1,500 meat that I don't want to have to gather up, and the other one involves breaking a man's legs. I don't think it's too complicated which one feels like the easier option. Break his legs back. You don't need a mule, this is fixable. Hold still a minute. Huh? Well, okay. With some grunts from you, and some cries of pain from him, you normalize his legs. Oh, great jumping Jiminy, man. Oh, don't be a baby. Look, they're much straighter now. Guess I can't deny that. He winces as he mounts the nearby horse and rides out of camp. Great job. That's everyone here. That's everyone dealt with and out of here, and that means I'm finally out of this hellhole too. If we ever cross paths again, I really owe you one. She frisbees her clipboard, snaps you a salute, and marches out of the fort. All in a day's work. And we're halfway to being able to get Safe Kraken 5. Well, let's look at some other locations. Olive Gardens Homestead. I reckon that's Olive Garden. Oh, this is nice. Ma tried to grow a cactus garden, but got fed up with pricking her fingers all the time. I reckon I would too. Howdy. Howdy, stranger. Why does this music have to be so dang relaxing? Name's Stick. Howdy, Stick. I'm Olive. Olive Garden. Nice garden you've got here, Olive. Why, thanks. You reckon this game was sponsored? Looks delicious. Oh, I don't grow 'em to eat, I just grow 'em to grow 'em. In fact, if you've got the know-how, you're welcome to harvest anything you like. Thanks. Sure thing, hun. Why, I'm always happy to meet another cactus aficionado. Did you know there's more than 2,000 different breed of cactus? All in different shapes and sizes, all different colors of flowers too. I'll be. If you know what sort of cactus to look for, they'll help you survive out in the desert for quite a while too. They collect and store a lot of drinkable water, and several varieties bear edible fruit. And that's even before we get into their medical uses. Did you know if you sterilize cactus spines over hot coals, you can use them for sutures? Although you have to be careful because there's a couple of breeds whose spines are actually venomous. Did you know that saguaro cactuses, those are the tall ones with the arms that you probably picture when you think about cactuses, generally live to be 160 or 170 years old? Sometimes as old as 200 years. Heck, they aren't even considered adults till they're 125. You'll probably think I'm silly, but I kind of think of these cactuses as pets. They're like my big green prickly children, though a lot easier to take care of, obviously. People probably think of me as a weird cactus lady that lives outside of town, but that don't matter to me so long as I got my needle babies. You know, if you love cactuses so much, yeah, I was just thinking this would be where this went. Why don't you marry one? Stick, you are definitely not the first person that suggested that, and I'll tell you what, I would absolutely positively marry a cactus if I could find one that wanted to marry me. I know where one that wants to marry you is. Get some cactus beer. Harvest literally anything I can. And all of this gets me XP too. Loco weed and northern clownwort are both more than I can handle. Well, looks like we're off to Dirtwater. Say, I don't reckon you found me a cactus lady yet. I have found just the gal for you, Bill. Do you mean it, Stick? Sure do. She's a cactus lady named Olive Garden, and she's a real peach. You give Cactus Bill directions out to Olive's ranch, and he hitches a ride on the very next passing stagecoach. Godspeed, Cactus Bill. Let's comb Winnie's mane. And head for deepest delve mine. Coal Smasher 5000. I think this is where all that El Vibrato stuff has been pointing us. I think things are about to get kinda heavy. Well, let's get in and out quick. I know how to shoot an invisible voice, and that exhausts a fair bit of my problem-solving expertise. So real quick, there's one thing I've been wondering. Oh, I never gave those science doohickeys to what's-her-face back in Gun Manor. Heck. Let's give my Necromancer Journal a read. You open your Necromancer Journal and examine the information you've collected so far. Robe receipt you found has led you to determine that the Necromancer's lair is west of the mountains. Using your ley line diagram, you narrow the location of the Necromancer's lair down to a handful of possible locations based on the unseen currents of energy in that riddle the land. You found a cryptic note about Hellcow energy. The Necromancer's lair must be near that crazy portal you found at Hellstrom Ranch. You found that discipline slip that mentioned dangerous mushrooms. It says there's a path of Mortis austratus near the lair. Death oysters. They only grow in a narrow band between Big Canyon and the mountains. You've got it. You've finally got enough information to pinpoint the precise location of the Necromancer's lair. You found a note with the magic word required to enter the tower. Abracadabra. Okay, so all we had to do to unlock that was just read it. Plus mysticality minus muscle. Oh. Hang on. Let's get my hammer back. Action points and speed, armor, mysticality. This is literally a human tailbone with a finger-sized hole shot through it. Literally a skeleton's butthole. Ring of moderate unpunchability. Goblin engagement ring. It's shiny. Distractingly so. That said, with all of those, I think I want the Effluvious Emerald ring. So hang on. Spit-soaked boots are at +4. Maximum AP. On the other hand, Tony's shiny boots are +2 and +11 spell damage. Extra large boots aren't bad either. You know what? Attach a boot strap. Use some boot polish. -5 moxie. Oh, I still find those funny. And I've got an extra pair of Kurt's Fit pants if I want to sell them. Mysticality and spell damage is what I have right now. Regeneration, that's not bad. Mysticality. Mysticality and armor. You know what? Let's go ahead and equip McCready's pocket watch. That'll help with some of the grindness that we'll need to do. Alright. I can do some percussive maintenance. Fix up that elevator. That's a floor ceiling shaft that I don't know what to do with. Go to level 2. Inspect the floor to ceiling shaft will continue. Okay, we got cultists. You know, one thing did just occur to me. Where actually... Oh, that's where the Necromancer's Tower is. It's okay, we'll save that for a bit longer. Trouble is, most of them will have decent mysticality, which means spells won't do as much to them. Still, if I go ahead and use the old bean, give myself an armor buff. And now, let's show them how a real necromancer does things. They're not easy, but they're doable. Got a few things that I need to sell. It's a big cross made of El Vibrato stuff. Its precise lines and corners stand in marked contrast to the altar, which makes your eyes spin involuntarily when you look at it. Take the El Vibrato cross. And as it said there, it is positively thrumming with plot significance. Off to level 3. Flush another couple of toilets. There are cultists. Anything back this way? Oh my. I could push that. Oh hey, it's the bracelet. This bracelet is way too small for you to wear, even if it also wasn't way too colorful for you to wear it in public. Don't judge, man. Splash color can really bring a look together. 6 cultists. Hang on, wait. I know how to do this. Use the old beam. Summon a bean golem. And Dark Howdy. Oh, wait. One more thing. One more thing. Dark Howdy. Trouble is, their stats are too high, so that thing is literally just there to shut down, or to soak up an attack or two. But with all that, I've got 11 action points. Finish them off with the Great Northern Blizzard. I love having spread moves. So hang on. Sure, let's push it. Oh, I see. So if we go back topside, we'll be able to grab that thing and likely crush it. How many cultists there finna be in them mines? Fight 'em. 7 of them. I keep forgetting to bring in or to enchant some more bones. Okay, you use the old bean. And drop a Dark Howdy. Alright, let's see now. Rain of Teeth or Great North Blizzard? Rain of Teeth. The thing is, until they lower my stats a good bit, they literally can't damage me with their spells. Sarsaparilla, and Sarsaparilla. Game asking if I cheated in that fight. Nope, I'm just that good. Pickaxe and 50 muscle, huh? That ain't too hard to do. Surely I got something in here that'll give me a bit of a muscle boost. General Gobb's hat gives a muscle boost, but it's not quite enough. Strange head sack. And now, back to my preferred hat. Insert a keystone, and I can enter this portal. It's the El Vibrato Control Center. West Roberto containment power offline. Oh my. East Roberto containment power offline. So I guess they were trying to contain him? Place it in the machine. It snaps into place of its own accord. Cytronic resonator detected. I need batteries to make those work. Well, we'll visit Alamo Rent-A-Mule first. Buff my armor. Summon a beam golem. Oh my. Oh, it's a cobra. Not a cobra. Well, you can give this guy his daughter's bracelet. How's it going? Oh, pretty typical, by which I mean horrible. My shins are acting up, my eyebrows are on the fritz, and you wouldn't believe the amount of paperwork I've got to do. But of course the pencil sharpener is broken, so I have to sharpen my pencil by hand with a nail file. And a scorpion got in my coffee and drank half of it. Did you find my daughter's bracelet yet? Yes, I found it. Wow, thanks a bundle. It's a real tragedy there are so few selfless and kind-hearted people like you in the world, willing to do a huge, dangerous favor for a total stranger without any expectation of a reward. Yeah, sure. Let's go stop by the professor's house. The necromancy attack is a bit faster than the fire attack. Let's fabricate a couple of batteries. By the way, I met Dr. Morton. She says hi. Josie, what's she up to these days? When I met her in a bar and she was soaking a rock in whiskey. Still doing her hypercrystalline thaumatomorphic diorite tests. Good on her for being so thorough. There we go. I really feel like there should have been more interactions with him. I'm going to revisit a couple of mines real quick. Just because, well, I want to use some of those... punch cards again. Okay, not that one. What about the Curious Cops? A lightning snake. Use the old beam. Oh, before I forget. Skeleton bones. Let's ensorcel some. And loose teeth. Thought I could ensorcel some of them too. Ah, it was skull chips I could ensorcel. Oh. Oh, I forgot that was a thing. I have another battery. I know I may... Yeah, I've got 3 more. I don't know why I can't turn it on. Maybe I already learned all the El Vibrato words that I can. Let's go visit Soup Stock Load. Oh my. Winnie's ears perk up and she suddenly veers off course. You approach a weird clearing full of piles of rocks. They make your ears ring somehow. Yeah, let's dismount and investigate. The West Pole. Pile of weird rocks. Grab one for Dr. Morton. These rocks are strange. They don't seem to weigh as much as they should, and they're sort of drawn to each other. You could probably make an interesting cairn out of them. Powerful, mystical, suave, obviously mystical. Perfectly balanced stack, a mystical sigil, an elaborate orrery. And I got the perk Song of Spheres. Huh. Got a perk Heart of Stone. And a cheeky gesture for Heavy Trigger Finger. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Huh. Alright, well anyway, back to Soup Stock Load. Got a keystone, that's always helpful. Hang on. Okay, I definitely still have a pickaxe. I'm suddenly so paranoid about my pickaxe just up and disappearing. Ah, there's the infinite snake pit. Ah, here's the translator. Oh, no. This one wants the El Vibrato fluid. 3 buttons up here on the screen. Oh, okay. Got a food cube. El Vibrato rum. Huh. Let's go visit the Great Garbanzo's hideout. She's crazier than most animated walking human skeletons you see because she's got a buffalo skull for a head, and you aren't aware there haven't been any buffalo-headed people living in this area, you know, historically. I have buffalo tranquilizers, sure. When am I ever going to do that? When else am I ever going to get to do that? Oh, and she had buffalo skin pants. Let's make something out of delicate bean iron. Let's make a kettle. Don't have too many things we need at this point. Is this the one with all of the... Sure. Oh, and we got a cactus club. Is this the one with all the mushrooms? No, it doesn't look like it. This does look like somewhere they were investigating El Vibrato stuff, though. Trouble is, I really don't remember where most of the El Vibrato equipment is. So I can't actually recall where they had the translator. Is it down the abandoned well? Ah, here we go. Learn the words for planetary and emergency. Oh, that's a nice pair to learn together. And learn the word for sustenance. And that's it. I got nothing else to learn from the punch cards. Okay, well, it was a long hunt for not too much that actually needed to get done, as it turns out. But now I can be sure I understand anything that happens down there at the bottom of the deepest delve. A tree next to you explodes in a tower of splinters. You turn your head slightly to regard a stump with a hatchet sticking out of it, and then turn the other way to regard the large bear that threw it at you. On second glance, you see that he isn't a bear at all, but a big, muscular man with a giant beard and bearskin pants. If you think you're gonna take me alive, you got another think coming, pal. What I was thinking was more like, what should I do for lunch, oh, that's a nice tree. I know you're one of them bandit hunters. You ain't gonna catch me hibernating. Well, it's either give up, which puts us one step, which I think actually ends the day for us, or fight. A grizzled mountain man. Okay. Dark howdy. And we got some bearskin pants. Those are some nice pants. You won. Here's hoping there aren't two more like them out there. Oh, and we should visit Olive Garden's homestead to see how the happy couple is doing. Wait. Huh. Weren't there two of those before? Now I'm starting to wonder if I need to power things somewhere else to take care of those. Well, let's head to Olive Garden's homestead. Oh, never mind, we found Hallow's hideaway. Let's go there. Shovel the squirrel droppings. Maybe they're good for some extremely minor amounts of XP. Howdy. Name's Halloway. Hab Halloway. Sorry for the chittering. I ain't seen another person in a long time. Not surprising. This place is pretty secluded. What do you do here? Mostly I sell pine cones to squirrels. Halloway chews on something he had stored away in one of his cheeks. H. Halloway, I found this. Let's see what you're selling first. Clip-on bow tie. I bet I could have used that to get around that one quest. Jar of peanut butter. Oh, I could go for some peanut butter right now, actually. Not even joking. Pine cone. Pine trees use them for reproduction, animals use them for food, and grandmothers use them for making little decorative owls. I don't know that I particularly need a pine cone. Let's give the man his pen. H. Halloway? I found this silver pin that I think belongs to you. Ah, dang it, I was hoping not to see that again. I locked that up with the keys inside on purpose. Too many bad memories. I appreciate the intention, it's real kind of you, but go ahead and keep it. Is it something to do with why you live all the way out here with squirrels? I just don't feel comfortable in regular society no more. Is it something to do with this old pickaxe? It has your initials on it. Found it in the same mine your pin is from. No, I didn't do nothing. He starts chittering wildly and squirrel. Whoa, okay, I'm sorry, I'm putting it away, never mind. Halloway grabs a paper bag from under the counter and hyperventilates into it for a bit. Eventually, he calms down, though he still has a kind of wild look in his eyes. So, welcome to my shop. What can I do for you? See you later. Well, that was something. Olive Garden, are we going to make it to your place this time? Oh, it's a ghost trapper. 100% spooky resistance. That's fine enough. I think I need to upgrade my bean golem. It seems to be struggling around here, and, well, especially if I go onto that train. I don't know if I want to go there without a nice helping of backup. Got a bit of ectoplasm. Well, I got enough to get up to maximum safe cracking. And to buff my bean golem. There's Hellbender. Foraging, Dickering, Outfoxing, Wary. You know what? I'll go ahead and give a quick buff to Wary. And take one more to Muscle as well. Hey, Bill, I see you found the place. I found the love of my life, and it's all thanks to you, Stick. Yes, thank you. It was love at first sight. We got married right away. I'm just glad to have helped someone find happiness in this desolate wasteland. Good luck to you both. Can I go inside the house? We're still figuring out the whole hugging thing. I wonder if I could find some puncture-proof coveralls somewhere. Maybe I should shave. Oh, but those spines are important to protect and shade your skin. Well, at least we can kiss so long as we're careful. I wonder what our children will look like. Somehow, I don't know that having children is gonna work, but best of luck to the two of you. Hang on. I'm so confused as to what she was just doing. Also, honestly, oh yeah, I got to save Kraken 5, 3, something like that. It's a goblin clam digger. Shiny abalone brooch. Gives a buff to mysticality. The thing is, I don't actually know what the end of the game is. You know what? Before we do that, we're gonna go visit the Necromancer's Tower. I'm curious. The skull above the door screams password. I hope I didn't just get noise gated there. Abracadabra. The door unlocks. Sorry, I just gotta check something. Okay. Some necromantic runes, they desire to be read. You read the runes closely, tracing them with one finger. They glow darkly at your touch. You learn 3 ancient names: a name of bone hatred, a name of bone void, and a name of bone never was. I can just drink from it. Fountain of blood. Nothing weird about that. The blood is delicious, like meaty Kool-Aid. You gain an effect, dark-blooded. That's just for today, but I think that'll actually be quite helpful. You approach the army of skeletons without fear. Something in your eyes causes them to shrink back slightly. Banish them. Your eyes turn black as you howl 3 names. The skeletons screech and explode out of existence. Oh, I didn't get any XP for that. Maybe I should have fought him. You read the runes closely. You learn a name that banishes mind. You learn a name that hatches a void from a toothed egg. Well, there's a big old pillar of skulls blocking your path. There was bound to be one of these in here somewhere, right? Excuse me, fellas, I need to get past here. Skulls hiss and chitter and giggle at you. So that's a no then. Annihilate the skulls or fight them. You know what? I'll fight them. Oh my, that's a lot of hit points. Oh, and it's got big open eyes now. A largish bean golem. They're immune to spooky damage. Luckily, I've still got fire. Oh, but I've also got a dark howdy. Oh my, so they do have ranged attacks. Let's throw up a bean wall. Dang it. Okay, so it looks like I have multiple uses there. Alright, I might just go ahead and annihilate the skulls. You learn a name that dissolves bonds. You learn a name that withers love, corrupts love, and twists it, and blackens it, and turns it into hate. Thump and smash. These two skeletons have their names written on their foreheads so they won't forget them. Actually, wait. Maybe they each have the other one's name. Banish them. You hiss the names, and the names slither into your foes. The giant skeletons turn and smash each other until only splinters remain. The tippy top of the Necromancer's Tower. You approach the throne and the wizard husk sitting on it. Unbelievable. All that killing, all that horror, and this is what's behind it? He tries to speak to you, but all that comes out is dust. Consume him. You chant the ancient words of ascension. You're not even sure how you know them, but they taste like home. The pathetic twig that was once a man explodes into dust. Breathe him in. Achievement unlocked. Blackest Hat. You consume what's left of the old man before it even hits the ground. A black fire ignites in your heart. He had some power in him after all, and of course, we gained 666 XP. Now that power is yours. Now you are power. Got an item, the Necromancer's Crown. This is the crown you took when you became the Necromancer. It's all spiky and skull bedecked. You pick up his crown. Funny, there's nothing to it. Why couldn't you see that before? So hang on. All that, and I don't actually change any stats. I don't get a new ability or perk, and the hat that they gave me is useless. Oh, that's funny. We did it. Yep, that's one necromancer that's romanced his last neck. High five. Boom. What you think we should do next? Alright. Let's head on back to Frisco. Unrefined meat nugget. I should sell some of the things that I've got that don't have any other purpose. Let's go ahead and sell the stock certificate. It's plural. Where are my unrefined bean nuggets? Ah, unrefined meat nugget. Oh, and I got a blank postcard to send out when I get the chance. Well, that's all I had to sell. I think. I don't know. Once I found the unrefined meat nuggets, I stopped paying too close attention. Time to follow the tracks. Climb down into the train car and crack the safe for the cargo car key. Should have said key instead of keys. Unlock it. I hear Norton scurrying forward on the roof. Oh, hey there. So let's see. You know what? Why not? Ambush. I probably shouldn't be wearing this hat now that I think about it. Well, I won't set up beam shield. Armor only applies to physical attacks, and these guys will be shooting. I'll set up a beam wall. Summon a beam golem. And I just realized these guys have pitifully low health. Got the dining car key. Oh, I can reveal the dish underneath it and get shaving cream pie. Yuck. So hang on. We started in the cargo car. And we got a passenger car. Then a dining car. But I can't progress down here any further. So it looks like I have to fight this guy now. Luckily, he don't look too tough. Throw up a beam shield. Beam golem. Use the old beam. Let's just do everything. Bring out all the buffs. We'll even summon an ensorcelled skeleton. Dark howdy. I don't know if y'all have realized, but the main reason I even use Grinning Skull over Lava Fava is that the casting time is shorter. Why is this guy hanging out on top of a moving train with a knife? Charge him. The train murderer. You rifle through his pockets. They're empty except for his luggage tag. Turns out his tag number is 3. Climb down in here. I've hidden the key to the forward passenger car in my luggage to make it easier for me to murder everyone in the sleeper car. Sincerely, the train murderer. P.S. Come to the roof of the sleeper car in the next 55 minutes if you want to murder. Crazy. You find bag number 3 and it has the key to the forward passenger car inside. That's very strong corroborating evidence for your theory of who the murderer is. But I can't access any of these rooms. So... okay, so going through there was necessary. You finally make it to the passenger car, one car back from the locomotive. Which may be confusing if you thought locomotive meant the entire train, so I could just say the engine. Except that refers to the engine itself, that is, the actual steam engine that makes the train go, and not just the frontmost car of the train. Anyway, you're in the passenger car. Suddenly Norton clambers in the window. He must have dramatically clung to the side of the train in order to reveal at the last minute that he hadn't actually been defeated. Dang it. He runs into the frontmost car of the train and locks the door. What a jerk. Maybe you could have got some of the passengers to help break down the door and arrest him. Or maybe you could just kick down the door and shoot him until he can't bother anybody anymore. This professorial-looking guy is frowning at a sheet of paper, occasionally scribbling on it with a pencil and then just erasing what he wrote. Excuse me, can you help me with something? Sorry, I'm busy. Ask my wife or my daughter. She could do with something to keep her occupied. What are you working on? It's quite academic. I'm sure you wouldn't understand. Try me. If you must know, I'm a scholar of foreign antiques. I'm attempting to resolve this ancient conundrum from the Far East. Solve it for him. That's a Sudoku. My little brother thinks they're for babies. What? Look, this box can't be a 3 or a 7 because you've got those there, so it has to be a 4. Which means it's a 5 here and a 9 here, and if that's a 9, then this can't be. So it's a 7, and this one's a 2. You quickly fill in the rest of the puzzle. Well, what fun is it if you just solve it for me? Sorry, will you at least help me break down the door of the engine and arrest the Emperor? Well, I guess I got nothing better to do. Looking at all that, I've got a sneaking suspicion that this is actually the last mission in the game. So I want to check a couple other things first. I'm not totally certain what the key is to getting out of here, but I've got a suspicion. We're gonna wander for a minute. Teach the goblin to juggle. Got a goblin sandwich. Oh my, that's quite a few. Hang on. While we're thinking about this, I think I'll go ahead and increase outfoxing. Ah, finally a genuine reason to use the vampiric yodel. As it was, really didn't make too much sense. Such small healing, and with the amount of damage I take when I'm taking damage, it's better just to attack. Crack the safe. Got another stock certificate. We encountered some dude roundabout that had a grudge against clowns, and we could have added him to the party, but I don't think my outfoxing was high enough, or my moxie, something like that. We got a complicated El Vibrato punch card. You come upon a Russian river, which a family of 4 is attempting to cross. However, the bridge is only wide enough for 2 at a time, and they only have 1 lantern to light the way. You point out that it's broad daylight and they don't need the lantern. They seem a little embarrassed by this revelation and let you cross the bridge first. There's just a part of me that wonders if I get any extra options for, or if I get access to those clowns once I take care of the one who wants, once I add the one who wants to kill them to the party. A Smeleton. Hang on. We're gonna go to Lazy A Dude Ranch just so I don't have to deal with that sound. Just so I don't have to deal with all the... Oh, I got Forage in 3 now. Wait, I don't? Could have sworn I boosted Foraging. Oh, I boosted it to 2, didn't. Wait. No, I just straight up forgot to boost it. What did I boost? Oh, I boosted Outfoxing. Makes sense. Great Western Turlet Snake. What do you think we should do next? Any other ideas? Oh, we can take the interesting rock to Dr. Morton. Let's do that. Sorry, I genuinely think there's a chance that that's like the final mission. I mean, I don't mind finishing up the game, it's just... I'd like to not skip things. Ah, this is a very nice sample of raw hermetite. Where did you find it? At the West Pole. There's a whole bunch of it there, and it stacks up into all kinds of weird formations when you poke at it. Yep, that's what this stuff does. It's quite magnetic. What's that? Magically... Oh, Maginetic. Magically magnetic. We arcanologists have fun with our words sometimes. Anything else you need? Yes, actually. I found an interesting hexatite code. Oh, good evening, Rafkin. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? We're learning about interesting rocks and maybe procrastinating the final mission in the game. I found an interesting hexatite code node in a cave nearby, but I couldn't shift the thing. You've proven yourself the resourceful type. Think you could collect it for me? Sure thing, Dr. Morton. No need to stand on ceremony. Call me Josie. Okay, we got an old cave. Sugar guns, cat's eye candy, and clove drops. Weird floating rock. More weird floating rocks. The rock darts and weaves about. You need to take a sample from it, but you're not sure what the best approach is. I think I'll go with the free approach. You grab the rock in a, well, not a chokehold, and, not a half Nelson. You're well, good to hear that, Rafkin. Let's just say you wrestle it to the ground and extract a slice of it. Got a weird rock sample. Oh my, that's a big one. Here's your rock sample. That's a beauty. Set it over here on my workbench. She carefully examines the little stone through a crystal lens, while tapping on it with a little engraved silver hammer. Yep, this is just the stuff I'm looking for. And if my readings of the resonance frequencies are correct, I'm sitting right on top of a prime vein of research material. Or rather, the very similar looking hexatite boulder outside my house is. Neat. Very neat. Just one little problem, which is that the second-hand drilling rig I bought didn't come with any actual drill bits. Oh, geez, ain't that always the way? That is pretty much my experience, yep. Can't you buy one? Oh, I could mail order one, sure. Then I'd have to wait a couple of months for it to arrive. Or I could have an adventurous acquaintance of mine check out an abandoned mine site west of here and see if they can scavenge one for me. Yeah, that sounds like like a much better plan. Who's your acquaintance? Oh, wait. It's me, isn't it? Yep. Okay, I'm on it. Also, I just remembered something that I almost forgot. Curious Flat Plain. Sure, let's visit the Curious Flat Plain first. I'd keep going, but I'm not animated for climbing. Fair enough. Takes 30 moxie to climb down there. Got an El Vibrato rod. Emergency cache to cloaker. Oh, I didn't actually mean to go through there. Not yet, anyway. Insert a battery. This is definitely one of the largest hexagons you've ever seen. Power offline. Replace the missing piece with an El Vibrato cylinder. Primary terminal. Select secondary power terminal. Local power terminal, weather adjustment terminal, garbage terminal. Local power terminal. So is that like a transport thing? Well, that's odd. There's a tree stump here with a raw plucked chicken sitting on it on a plate. You dismount and start walking over to take a closer look at it. When a shot rings out, the chicken jumps a foot into the air on a fire and lands backward on the plate, perfectly roasted. You slowly turn around to see a woman wearing a black chef's hat blowing smoke out from the end of her revolver. This here's my property. I ain't care much for trespassers. Well, hey, I didn't mean to. She holds up 3 large bacon potatoes in her left hand and points her pistol at you with her right. Side dish is either these here taters or you. You got 3 seconds. Just hold on. 2. See, I'm actually tempted to see how the conversation goes if I beg for my life, but I feel like she'll just let me go and I won't get anything out of it, so attack her. Backcountry Chef Magus. Okay. Throw up a bean wall. Got a cooking pistol. Looks like your metaphorical goose gets to stay literally uncooked. Activate the winch and press the button labeled smash. You got an item with super dense coal. I wonder if that does anything down there on, what was it, level 3? Don't seem to. Oh well. We do have quite a pile of meat now. So that's nice. Back to the abandoned mine. You find a rough wooden cross stuck into the grounds with the words "some jerk" carved into them. Desecrated grave. Got some old coins. And an old engagement ring. I know there was a drilling rig down in here somewhere. Grab the bit. El Vibrato rung, a complicated punch card, and some scraps. back to Dr. Morton's house. Hey, Josie. Oh, found that replacement pit yet? Sure have. Hey, that's great. A little bit of surface rust, but if my calculations are right, this should do just fine for our purposes. Come on, let's go hook it up right now. Wow, she really didn't waste any time. That was crazy fast, Josie. Geez, you got lights set up in here already and everything. Well, while you were out running errands for me, I didn't have much to do except plan this out. Having to fight an anthropomorphicite was not part of my plan, though. What now? The angry stone fellow over there. Boy, what I wouldn't give to be able to examine one up close. Unfortunately, getting mashed into a pulp would probably hurt my chances of getting tenure. I'll see what I can do. Touch the orb bristling with arcane power. And also, as much as I love my necromancer hat, I think I'm gonna go ahead and switch to something a little bit more useful. You know what? Give me my spittoon hat. See, I could just duck through the tunnel, but... Wait. Huh. That's peculiar. I'm guessing I have to run through there if I want to get past, but... You know what they say. I don't care to do that. Let's give it a dark howdy. As long as they're making magical attacks, I ain't got nothing to worry about. You really curse those hexes. Okay, so yeah, that was just a way around it. Wow, that's an extremely interesting rock. Isn't it incredible? This one will definitely get me into the history books, or at least get my research paper into an important arcanogeology journal. Thanks so much for your help. So, this word is reminding me of a term that was invented during a D&D game with the first group that I played with. One person put on a disguise and claimed to be the cryptozoology professor of the local college. And that became a very long-running joke. Cryptozoology was a big topic in that campaign. Oh, it was nothing. I'll be giving you an assistant credit when I publish it, of course. I'd like to give you more material reward, but I spent most of the grant money on the drilling rig. Oh, how about this? I don't need this hexatite sample anymore. Maybe you could wear it as a hat? Arcane geode hat. It's not bad. We'll go to the old cave, and then we'll wander. I just want to see if there's anything else down around here. Oh hey, we got some Wandering Sally trading to do. Can buy a couple of needles. I don't care too much for the rest of this, but... the combination of hissing, chattering, and clinking. An ancient skeleton rises out of the sand in front of you. He's wearing dented and rusted antique armor and a long handlebar mustache. Must be an ancient explorer, would-be conqueror. Hopefully the former, because he doesnn't seem to have been much good at the latter. How does your mustache stay on? Do you use glue? Fight him. I really kind of wish I had outfoxing 5 at this point, because, well, it keeps coming up. How does he have so much moxie when guns weren't invented back then? Old Spanish sabatons. Spanish refer to these style of heavy boots as sabatons because they weigh more on Sundays. Oh, huh. Guess we must be near the beach. Seaweed draped skeleton. Got a sea skull. It's an offhand item. I was kind of hoping it would be a hat. Actually, that would have been pretty cool. Give me just a moment. Give it another wander. This guy thinks seems to think we're ghosts. Well, got a construction sledgehammer. Let's go ahead and finish boosting out Foxen. It seems to be coming up constantly. Come on, give me something to find in the desolate, lonesome coast. Dark howdy. As long as it takes a few hits for me, I'm fine with how it goes. So I think the next hit from me will finish him off. I don't know if I'm supposed to be this much stronger than my allies or what. Alright, the desolate, lonesome coast don't seem to be unlocking any new places for us. Let's go and finish up that train run. Woman ignores me. Hey buddy, you okay? It's all a lie. We're never gonna get to Frisco. Frisco probably don't even exist. They've been testing to see how long we can survive on complimentary peanuts and bottled water, and now they're driving us out into the desert to some kind of government camp. They're gonna use our organs to fuel alien flying machines. I like how it's percussive maintenance to snap them out of it. What? Oh, sorry. Guess I lost it for a second there. Feel better? He rubs his jaw. Well, yes and no. Listen, we're gonna get to Frisco, but first we gotta bust into the locomotive up front and arrest a crazy guy. I need some volunteers. Okay, I'm in. If I have to sit here doing nothing for much longer, I'll probably flip out again. So hang on, confront Norton. You pound on the door to the locomotive or engine car or cab or whatever. Open up, Norton. No! Alright, then I'm coming in. Oh yeah, you in what army, tough guy? I'll get back to you on that. I kind of want to get all of the passengers on my side. This man is too busy ignoring his daughter to not ignore you. This little girl is peering out the window of the train, clearly bored out of her mind. Ah there, busy? No, all my toys and friends are in our luggage, and it's boring and I hate it. Her friends are in their luggage? That's concerning, to say the least. Do you want to help me out with something real important? Huh? Like what? Well, a bad guy took over the engine car, and I need some people to help me break down the door and arrest him. What, mister, I'm just a little girl. Hey now, that's not a good attitude. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do anything just because you're a girl. But, okay, yeah, we'll bust that crook's face in. Wow, that's the spirit. But you gotta pay me, in advance. Geez, you're learning a little too fast. Alright, what do you want? I like stuffed animals. I have some stuffed animals. Here, have the little teddy bear. A little teddy bear? Eh, carnival trash. Maybe if you had the whole set of 3, that'd be okay. I'll be right back. Okay, well that's one thing I can do in the carnival. Maybe that's what I needed to do to finish off to get access to the last to the boss clown. Excuse me, ma'am. Yes? Crazy Psycho has taken over the train's engine car, and I need volunteers to help break down the door and arrest him. Oh my, I certainly couldn't be of any help with that. I'm very conflict averse. What if I told you he hates birds and is determined to outlaw them from the territory after he seizes power? That's very sly, but I know you're only saying that because you saw the book I was reading. Yeah, you got me there. Any other ideas to convince me? Suddenly you hear a tapping at the passenger car window. What the... Russell? You open the window and your pet crow Russell flaps in and perches on your shoulder. We released Russell back at the start of the game. I can't believe he's coming in here. Hey buddy, good to see you. Caw! Oh my gosh, what a beautiful crow, and he knows you? Oh sure, me and Russell go way back, right buddy? Caw! I rescued him from a cat when he was only just out of the nest and raised him as a pet. Set him free when I left home recently. Well, what is he doing here? Has he been following you since? No, he probably just happened to be flying by and spotted me on the roof of the train and recognized me. Crows are crazy smart like that. That's amazing. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have an avian friend like that. Well, I'm still going to be doing a lot of traveling after this, but I figure, so I can't really drag Russell along with me. But I bet Russell wouldn't mind being pals with a nice lady in Frisco who helped save the train. What do you say? What do you think, Russ? Russell caws again and flaps over to perch next to the lady. He lightly pecks at her shoulder in a friendly manner. Caw! My goodness, how could I refuse? It's a pleasure to meet you, Russell. My name's Annabelle. Annabelle. Awesome. I'll let you know when I'm ready. Except we're going back to the circus. Because I'm pretty sure I can get my muscle high enough to get the last thing in there. Give it a shot, hit it extremely hard, and I got a large plush bear. Okay, well that didn't unlock it, but at least we got the last thing for that little girl. Mister, your hat's on fire. Yes, I know. You don't seem to be particularly bothered by it. I don't think panicking would solve anything. Guess you have a point of sorts, so what's your deal? My deal? Well, I'm an artist. I see. So is this some kind of performance art thing? Oh, you mean the hat. No, that's just a coincidence. I'm a painter. Try to convince him to take the hat off. Mister, you need to take that hat off. You'll roast your brain. Perhaps, but think how handy it'll be for reading at night. Explain that fire is bad for his hat. Look, I'll put it this way. You're an artist, right? You depend on your eyes for your ability to create. Well, once your hat burns down far enough, your eyeballs are going to boil in their sockets. Ah, well, that would put a damper on my painting. Of course, well before that happens, your brain will roast, starting with the parietal lobes on top, which govern visual perception and object manipulation. Oh my, well, if you made your point there. Here, got a burning top hat. And 53 XP. I'm just going to go down and go across. I think all the doors are unlocked. Okay, so you can't just go through the door of the dining car. Nice big teddy bear. Oh, she literally only wanted the teddy bear. Okay then. Excuse me, ma'am. Whatever it is, I want no part of it. I keep myself to myself and I've no desire to get involved, thank you very much. Come on, this is important. A crazy guy stole the train and I need help arresting him or you'll never get to Frisco. I'm sure everything will sort itself out in the end. In the meantime, I have plenty of wool. Ma'am, is that your daughter? Yes, she is. What about her? I bet, what would you like her memory of this absurdly long train ride to be? That her mother was a hero who helped stop the bad guy, or that she sat powerlessly, knitting while the menfolk did everything? What sort of role model would you prefer to be? That is tantamount to extortion, young man. It's your choice, ma'am. Fine. And the sleepy guy in the three-piece suit. Hi, excuse me? Yes, what is... Crazy jerk calling himself Emperor Norton has hijacked the train, and I need volunteers to help me bust down the door and arrest him. I see, and? And will you help me? No, I'd really rather not. That sounds quite strenuous, perhaps even dangerous. Come on, please. No, I don't think so. I'm quite comfortable here, and I prefer to avoid stress. Pretty please? Again, no. I'm supposed to avoid things that might raise my blood pressure. You're pleased with sugar on top? Sugar is one of those things. Pretty pleased with gravy on top? Gravy is another. Look, please just leave me alone. Please, 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 please. No, please, 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 stop that. No, please, 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 please. I said no, stop asking. You're really getting on my nerves. Please, 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 I'll stop asking if you say yes. Please, please, please. Alright, fine, I'll help, just leave me alone. Oh, I actually feel kind of bad for that one, but then again, this is a life or death situation. Annabelle and Russell seem to be getting along famously. Well, we got the good ending for the bird anyway. Me and this army. You and the passengers break down the door impressively, though it would have been even better if you had some torches and old-fashioned rakes. Norton is backed up into a corner of the engineer's compartment next to the engineer who looks over his shoulder and shrugs. So-called Emperor Norton, you're under arrest for the crime of being a total butt. That's not illegal. It is when I'm in town. Everybody grab him, except you, Mr. Engineer. I can see you're busy driving the train. Right. Actually, if you could turn around and head back to Frisco at the next station, that'd be great. No problem. Oh, wow. Let's go. This isn't over. You haven't heard the last of me? Tell it to the judge, Norton. The prison judge. We made it. We got all the way west. We surely did. Thanks for having me along, Stick. It's been good times by and large. Ah, heck, Susie Cochran. You fixing to split with me? Nah. I got no particular pressing business. I'll stick around till you finish whatever it is you think you're doing. I would have been sad if we lost Susie. We got the track laid right up to the station now. First ever cross-territory railroad thanks to the Manifest Destiny Railroad Company. And principally you. You did a real good job, Stick Guy. Frisco Station. This was a one-way train, so there's no sense in going in there now. Looks like somebody on that train got a job as the projectionist. Would you like to watch this movie? It's free because movies have only recently been invented, and nobody's figured out what they can charge for them yet. No, doing this will not change anything about the world or your character. When the cutscene is over, you'll still be right here, and you can keep playing if you want. Not quite yet. Hang on. Give me the old bean. And torch it. Menudo Geode. Hang on. I'm gonna make a couple of quick Google searches. Chuck's Basement west of Loathing. Oh! Oh my. Well. You remember back when we switched up the labels on the tins? Well, now we just have to talk to Chuck. Excuse me. Yes, how can I help you? What's on the menu? Homemade sausages and tomato soup. Have a special tea blend that's a real knockout. Huh. Oh, that reminds me. I left the kettle on. The water should be boiled by now. Would you care for a cup of tea? No thanks, I'm good. Chuck pours himself a cup of tea and sips it while staring at you. After a bit, he starts to look drowsy. Oh my, I'm coming over all sleepy. Perhaps I should get my hood down for a few minutes. It's been a long day. Please excuse me. Now I can enter his bedroom. Chuck's creepy bedroom. There's a key on top of the drawer. Chuck's key, yoink indeed. And I can't interact with him. Now I can go down there. Doesn't look nearly as horrific down here as you expected, unless you're particularly horrified by an unmade bed. Bag full of missing mail. Blank postcard. Books left by previous guests. Locks and how to pick 'em. I've already got that one. Dark Forbidden Secrets of Nex-Mex. Oh, hey, that's the last necromancy book. Advanced Beancraft Volume whatever that is. What a haul. I can now raise skeletal gunslingers. Pretty sure I have to use teeth for that. Corrupt obsession. You care less and less about worldly matters. Your interests lie beyond this plane's final curtain. Just you've gone too far. As you're climbing out of the cellar, a mailman approaches you. Oh man, thank goodness you found my mail. This mailbag is yours? Yeah, I've been stressed out lately, so I took a day off and rented a room here for a sort of mini vacation. Chuck's a great guy. A little weird, I guess, but real personable. And his cooking is great. The tomato soup and those great big sausages, his tea did wonders for my insomnia, too. Did seem pretty effective. Anyway, I forgot my mailbag and wasn't sure where I left it, so I've been retracing my steps for ages. Thanks for finding it. Okay, well, I guess he wasn't a serial killer after all. One remaining thing I want to take care of. Final Clown west of Loathing. Huh. Okay, so apparently I need to build clown suspicion? Something to that effect? Seems like there are a few decent options for doing it. Talk to you. What are they made of? Regular pork or long pork? So the clowns have to be suspicious of me, I think. Inspect the eggs more closely. Inspect the eggs more closely. This seems to be the easiest way to deal with this. How you doing, Janet? How are you feeling? Examine our workings. I'm hoping we rescue all of these once we do this. Clown crosses his arms and grunts when you approach. Ticket, please. Ticket for what? Barnaby Bob's Stunt Spectacular. Here's my ticket. Okay, go on in. Show will start soon. Real quick. As useful as that is to offset some of the penalties I got for being so far into necromancy, I don't think it's the best option here. Bean iron kettle. You know what? We'll go with that. Let's talk to this guy. Doesn't look like he's gonna let me backstage. Fine, have a seat. You take your seat, and a smattering of other patrons appear and sit down as well. After a minute or two, there's a crash of cymbals, and a clown runs in from the backstage curtain and jumps onto the stage. In contrast to the other clown's colorful clothing, his shirt is relatively simple. Black wool trousers and a bright crimson shirt under a pale tan leather jacket with a fringe on the sleeves and a red heart painted on the shoulder. His face paint is plain white without any colored accents, in contrast to his curled black mustache and thin goatee. A snappy silk top hat with a rakish tilt tops off his outfit. He doffs his hat and bows with a deep theatrical flourish, and the small audience claps politely. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And welcome one and all to Barnaby Bob's Perfectly Normal Traveling Circus Sideshow. I hope you've been enjoying the attractions and distractions of our little traveling carnival. Now it's time for our star performance, the main attraction. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for... A loud drum roll starts as he gestures to the curtain, then the cymbals crash again. The clown puts his hat back on with a chuckle. Me, Barnaby Bob. Much obliged, you're far too kindly. Why, I haven't even shown you anything yet. With a laugh, he flips a large bow-tie knife into the air. You didn't even see where he pulled it from. The knife glitters as it spins. He catches it and flips it in the air again, this time catching it and balancing it on its point. On the tip of one finger. He holds that pose very still for a moment, then jerks his hand out of the way. The knife thunks into the wood of the stage floor, deep enough that he has to jerk it from side to side before he can yank the blade free. He winks broadly at the audience. Wouldn't be any fun if they weren't sharp, would it, ladies and gents? Pulls two more knives from his jacket, begins flashy and elaborate knife juggling act. 3 spinning blades somehow turn into 4. Then his hat is added into the mix, floating lightly through the cascade of knives without a single scratch. He finishes the routine by catching 2 of the knives in each hand and allowing the hat to fall nearly to the ground, before catching it on the tip of his boot and kicking it back into the air and onto the top of his head. And now there's some applause I believe I've earned. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it took lots of hats to get where I am today. He chuckles and adjusts his hat back to its original rakish tilt. Now for the grand finale. First, I'll need a volunteer from the audience. A few hands go up. Barnaby Bob ignores them and looks directly at you. How about you, sir? Okay. Good, I like a brave one. Step up on the stage here. Your name, please? Stick Guy. It's a real pleasure to finally meet you, Stick Edgelord Guy. A couple of clowns haul a large wooden panel about 7 feet tall and 4 wide up onto the stage. They stand up vertically behind you and stay there, holding it steady. It has 2 holes in it, slightly above waist level, and a lot of knife marks. Press your back flap up against the wood, please, and put your hands through the holes. You do so. The holes are just a fraction too high, so it's not very comfortable. And then one of the clowns pulls your arms back tighter and ties them together with rough hemp, so it becomes much more uncomfortable for a variety of reasons. Don't worry, this is just to make sure you don't do any sudden and unexpected movements. Wouldn't want that, would we? Fret not, son. Everything's under control. He steps up close to you, adjusts your collar, brushes a little dust off your shoulders. My control. You know, Stick, we get a sharp customer through here from time to time. My, you're the sharpest I've seen yet. However, I'll bet a shiny silver dollar I've got something up my sleeve that's even sharper. His pupils narrow to vertical slits, and he grins at you, revealing rows of pointed yellow shark teeth. As he turns away, you can see that the heart on the shoulder of his leather jacket is drawn with an arrow through it, and the word Mom. It doesn't look painted on. Free your hands. You struggle a little, but your arms are too tightly bound. The rough hemp rope digs into your wrists. Barnaby Bob strolls to the other end of the stage and turns to face you. Now, don't you worry. This will all be over soon. Just don't move. He has a knife in his hand again and gives it a few twirls and flips. Light reflected from the blade glitters in his eyes. Then, without warning, he hurls at you. Thunk! The knife hits the wood before you can even blink, a hair's breadth from your left ear. Stare him down. Barnaby Bob grins at you as the crowd applauds. Another knife appears in one hand and an apple in the other. He tosses the apple to one of the stagehands, who carefully balances it on top of your head. Time for the old William Tell routine. A bit of a cliche, perhaps, but there's a reason it's a classic, eh, ladies and gentlemen? The crowd watches with rapt attention as he flourishes the knife, spinning it and flipping it behind his back. Then, faster than you can register, thwack! Cold apple juice dribbles into your hair and down the back of your neck. 2 for 2. What do you say, Stick? Shall we go for one more? Sure. Isn't he a good sport, folks? Barnaby Bob pulls another knife and gives it a quick stropping across the pale leather sleeve of his jacket, then whips a colorful spotted handkerchief from his pocket and blindfolds himself. This time his smile is much colder. I advise you to watch closely, Stick Guy, since you're the only one of us who can. Watch closely. Crowd laughs, but you don't really hear it. The knife spins in his hand, this time, either because of the adrenaline or because he's actually moving slower. You can see the motion of his arm as he throws it. He twists his wrist in an odd way that you don't think he did before. The knife is flying at you. The knife is flying directly at your right eye. Oh, this is the moment of truth, ain't it? Don't move. The knife, incredibly, swerves at the last possible moment. You can feel the wood shake from the force as it stabs into the board. The metal is cold against your right cheek. The audience erupts into cheers as Barnaby Bob removes his blindfold and pumps a fist triumphantly. One of the stagehand clowns unties your wrists and helps you get your arms out of the holes. Bob takes your hand and raises it into the air victoriously. Well, now, ain't he a good sport, folks? As brave a target as I've ever had. Take a bow, stick guy. You bow to the cheering crowd, carefully keeping your eyes on Barnaby Bob. He bows as well, moving his hat with an elaborate flourish. Then he takes a slip of paper out of it. As a token of appreciation, I'd like to give our star volunteer a gift. A year's supply of dynamite. Use it in good health. As he hands you the coupon, the clown leans in close to your ear and whispers, "This was the one and only warning you'll get, boy." We got a coupon for a year's supply of dynamite, which we don't actually need anymore. We already got our year's supply. Barnaby Bob waves and blows kisses to the crowd as you climb down from the stage. Then he disappears through the backstage curtain. The audience gradually disperses. We can come out here, and I'm assuming we can actually get a fight with Barnaby Bob. Wagon is old but well maintained. A brass plaque on the door reads Barnaby Bob, confirming your suspicions. Peek through the window, knock politely, or kick the door in rudely. Let's peek in the window. You see Barnaby Bob sitting at a desk. He seems to be inspecting a large map, but you can't make out any details from here. Kick the door in rudely. You set your jaw and kick the door, which slams open, rattling the entire trailer. What in the... You? By the 1,000 hats of the Red Skeleton Boy, you must have solid brass clangers to bust into my office like this. Do you not understand the tenor of my little demonstration? Was the subtext lost on you? Must I drive my point into your skull in a more literal and direct manner? One sec. Sorry about that. My throat's been getting sore from all the talking. I'm not afraid of you, clown. You may wish to reconsider both the tone and substance of that mark, friend, because I can be dang fearsome if I so choose. Are you so thick as to not understand who and what you're dealing with? Stuff it. I came here for answers and you're gonna give them to me. Barnaby Bob slams his hands on his desk and jerks to his feet. I'm gonna give you your eyeballs on a plate and fill the sockets with boiling urine, boy. Don't you dare try to intimidate me in my own house. If I thought for 1 second that you had the capacity to cause me the least amount of harm, your gnawed upon bones would already be baking in the desert sun. I gave you a gift and a warning, and I set you free with your life because I like a fellow with an ounce of moxie. But you are rapidly sinking in my estimation. Screw you, clown. Well, that just tears it, don't it? Barnaby Bob takes a deep breath and shouts, "Hey, Rube!" The burly guard clown is at the door before he's even hit the B in Rube, and more follow at a run. You don't even get the chance to draw a weapon before you're smashed unconscious by a fist like a white-painted anvil. You wake up sometime later, thoroughly bruised and battered. You've been dumped in a heap outside the circus, next to your horse. I guess it's pretty lucky you woke up at all. Barnaby Bob must either really like you, or hold you in such contempt that he doesn't think you're even worth the trouble of murdering. No prizes for guessing which is true. And speaking of no prizes, looks like he's taking back the coupon for the year's supply of dynamite he gave you. Rats. I guess I'm not allowed in there no more. And last but not least, the Stearns Ranch. Let's give the doll the goblet of blood. Why not? Sure, why not? You carefully pour the blood from the goblet into Grace's mouth. Grace leaps out of the toy box, laughing maniacally, and climbs the ranch house's ruined chimney. She runs towards you. See you soon. That's probably fine. Okay, well, I don't know what happens there. Hang on. Let's continue skimming through the wiki. Oh my. Let's see if this still activates the way it describes on the wiki. Hallow's Hideaway. Halloway's Hideaway. Yeah. This blood spatter is disturbingly squirrel-shaped. And that right there is what happens if you feed the doll the blood. What happened to the squirrels? Well, one day they were here and the next day they were bloodstains. I had the creepiest dream that night. I dreamt a little girl with big empty white eyes jumped in through my bedroom window and asked me if I wanted to have a tea party. I kind of regret making that decision now. Those squirrels didn't deserve that. But with all that taken care of, I can't think of anything particular that I want to finish off. So, let's head back to Frisco. And round all this off by seeing the final cutscene. Some folks say endings don't matter, but other folks, they like to know how things turn out, the consequences of their actions like. With the trains running again, Frisco thrived. People came from all over to seek their fortunes, but thanks to you, they didn't have to do it while on fire because some cow attacked their wagon. So the people of Frisco thrived. In all their near identical looking houses. With the railroad completed and Norton ousted, Smee found himself out of a job but in of an opportunity. After being elected mayor, he managed the growth and infrastructure of Frisco with compassion and pragmatism. In 1944, Frisco was named most reasonable city by the Tuesday Evening Post. Oh, we got City Hall, and there's Smee with his keyboard. I feel like he was supposed to be more integral to the plot, but we didn't. We had completed all of the first area before we even met him. The idea of city life didn't appeal to Susie much. After you and she parted ways, she moved down the peninsula ways and settled at Cowsbane Farm, still fighting the good fight in her own way. Achievement unlocked. I love the way you shoot. That's for completing the entire game with Susie as my partner. Oh. Best of luck to her. Thanks to you, Gun Manor reopened and delighted tourists for centuries. The residual positive psychic energy created by the ghosts you helped leaked into the local water supply. In decades to come, the businesses that sprang up near the manor were characterized by their environmentally friendly policies and charitable giving. I went very good ending on this playthrough. I'd be curious to see how things turn out with all of the evil stuff. With, like, doing all the evil stuff. Sorry, I'm just letting this scroll on through. Make sure I don't miss nothing. As we just hear loud footsteps. Gun Manor Visitor Center. After she finished getting the bakery boys up and running, Louise moved to Frisco and opened up her own shop specializing in artisanal breads and pies. Nice. Thanks to your assistance, Hobart Buppet got the photography bug, or should we say the photography owl. Anyway, he opened an art gallery so the citizens of Frisco would never again have to suffer from the inability to see pictures of owl skeletons whenever they wanted. Kurtz left the fort and set up shop in Frisco. His cult fitness group skyrocketed in popularity. The growth was entirely due to word of mouth, because the first rule of Kurtz Fit is that you cannot stop talking about Kurtz Fit. Kurtz till it hurts. I don't remember really having much involvement in, like, the progression of this. No Kurt's pain, no Kurt's gain. The musicians you sent to Dirtwater formed a band called Bread Zeppelin. They mostly did songs about skeletons. They were great. I wonder if there were more members of the band that I could have added. You solved 6 of Breadwood's problems. Oh, with the increase... I forgot to go back afterwards. With the increase in morale and civic resources, they were able to clear the weeds from the road and fix the well and broken hitching post. There was even enough left over to give the mayor's office a new coat of paint, refresh the facade on the Buttery Biscuit, and add a second story to the bunkhouse. The horse is still drunk, though. Olive Garden and Cactus Bill lived happily ever after. They even had a few young'uns. I won't ask how that works. Oh my. Oh, those abominations. Well, mainly that one. But I find these ones a tad concerning too. Looks like they got some pretty bad scoliosis going on there. Chuck continued to run his blood and breakfast without incident, accident, scandal, or allegation for many years. You won 4 of the reenactment scenarios at Fort Memoriam. They still talk about you. Remember when that sick fella came through here? Yeah, he was really good at this game. With your help, Roy Bean's Jelly Bean Museum became the talk of the town. Well, first they had to build a town nearby, but once they did, oh wait. Nice. Dirtwater became, relatively speaking, a thriving metropolis. Thanks to your efforts as a commerce ambassador and all-around helpful stranger, the once sleepy town became a shifting oasis in a barren land. Every man, woman, and child in the town knew your name. They even put up a little plaque with your name on it in your old room at the Jewel. Little did they know. Little did they know what? That I became a powerful necromancer? Something to the head effect? Look, it was something to do. What else was I going to do with all the bones and such that I found about the wilderness? As for you, after your adventure, you settled in Frisco and bought a very long, very narrow house. You filled it with souvenirs of your exploits and started an antique hat rack collection. When you left home, you told Rufus you wanted an adventure and excitement. You visited a staggering 73 places on your journey. You're just about as well traveled as they come, and they come from all over. Hey. And that's my house. I'm surprised that there are so many hat racks empty. I got a lot of hats. I guess there were more quest lines that I didn't complete than I expected. In 1806, all of the remaining cows in the West were simultaneously activated by some sort of signal from hell. They thundered east, forming a gigantic single-minded herd. Led by the infernal sadist Bovicus, the cow army thundered east toward Dirtwater. I don't know what I could have done to prevent this at this point. Fortunately, a gang of rodeo clowns swept in at the last minute and slaughtered the herd before it reached Dirtwater. Unfortunately, all of the townsfolk of Dirtwater had a hard time sleeping for pretty much the rest of their lives. Seriously, it was a grisly sight. 420 years later, deep beneath the ground, ancient machines silently stopped doing the thing they were built to do. It's probably fine. You and everybody you know are dead by then. Most of humanity has moved to space. Still, though, it's a shame about the planet. There were some cool bars there. So I guess I never did manage to finish off the El Vibrato storyline, but truth be told, I couldn't keep track of where everything was there anyway. Thank you for playing. And these folks did stuff, and I expect these were the... Oh, these folks also did things. The end. And they have a free browser-based game, The Kingdom of Loathing, online. That's nice to know. Before I go on, though, one last thing. Let's finish up that quest in Breadwood. I can't believe I dealt with the side quest and then just didn't take the mail back. Achievement unlocked. Our daily bread. You read the list of Redwood's problems. Bad lumber deal. We gave lumber to the railroad company for like no meat at all, and that's bad. Yeah, so all of those stuff, all of that stuff that we saw in the end cutscene hasn't actually happened yet. I really feel like there's got to be at least one more location up there, one more down here in the desolate, lonesome coast. Ah, well. That's a concern for another day. Actually, hold up. You know what? We'll finish this back in Dirtwater. Made our way all the way west. Where is the portable arcane oven? And to finish it off, I want to double check how many days it took us. Took us 5 in-game days. Well, thanks everyone who's hung out for the stream and who's hung out for the past streams. If you happen to be watching this on the VOD or something, I appreciate y'all. It's been a fun time. This game was a delight, and there are a lot of options in this game. Bit surprisingly, considering the detail, like the kind of game that it is. You'd think it would be a little bit more linear, but no, I've only got 11 out of 28 achievements. And 9 hidden achievements are left, so I don't even know what half of the remaining ones are. Huh. With all that said, I think this is a good place to leave off the stream. I will check real quick if there's anyone to raid, but luck hasn't been on my side. It doesn't look like it. But I appreciate y'all. I hope to see y'all next time. Later, folks.